Kinsley.
And Dalton Show.
And today we're going to be talking about anxiety and fear and ways to
deal with them, cope with them, and use God
to deal with it, not just on your own. So for just a little reminder out there, everybody deals with anxiety and fear. You are not alone. Even the strongest believers, strongest people, they have anxiety and fears. It's not just you. Because a lot of people feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one that deals with this. Nobody else does this like I do. But a bunch of people out there do.
Yeah, and you see people on social media all the time that you think they have a perfect life, or they got all the money in the world and they still don't have anxiety and fear. But most likely they still have the fear they won't have that money, or people won't like them anymore. So there is a bunch of fears that you don't realize people have because you're not in their shoes.
Yes.
And so that's a hard thing to deal with.
So, for example, biblical people who have experienced that fear would be David. In Psalms 56:34, he says, "When I'm afraid, I put my trust in you." And instead of saying he wasn't scared and tried to act like, oh my gosh, fear and anxiety, that's embarrassing to admit, he admitted and he turned his fear into trust into God to help him get through that situation.
Yeah, and David's a great one because you see David, everyone's told the story of David as this fearless guy, fearless shepherd who went and fought Goliath and defeated him with just a slingshot. And you see him as oh man, he was just fearless. He never feared anything. And then you get into Psalms and you realize he had a bunch of fear and anxiety and depression when he was a king, and he feared of losing his kingdom. His son died. He started getting depressed. And I think Psalms is really good to read because you realize everyone has problems and everyone has fears, but David did a really good job of always praying to God and always making sure that to pray to God and see the problems. But even David ended up starting doubting God and about his fears, because even though he was praying and stuff, he didn't feel like God was answering, and he started getting down. And there was a point in Psalms, David even said, "God, why are you hiding from me?" And I think that's a good point, because people think, and this isn't really about fear, but people think if God doesn't fix their problems right away, then God isn't here for them. And David even doubted them, just saying, "God, why are you hiding from me?" And I think that's a really good point, that you can't just expect to ask God something and something's fixed right away, but just continue working with God, praying to God, and I think that will help work with your fears. Do you have anything to say else on that?
But not really. Basically, yeah. Your fears aren't immediately going to go away. It takes time. It takes trusting in God and praying that God isn't going to forget about me. He's going to continue and try and do everything he can to get me to a better place.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to think faith isn't a quick fix. You can't just stick it in a microwave and it'll come out all perfect, right? I mean, nothing's like that. You can't work out and wake up the next day with abs. It's something you have to pray about every day and strengthen it. I mean,
consistently do it or it's never going to happen.
Yeah, and you see people that are really faithful, and you're like, wow, you just want to be like him, and you think maybe you're going to read 3 chapters of the Bible today, and tomorrow you're going to wake up. And
you're going to go to church on Sunday and not talk about God the rest of the week.
Yeah, and you're going to be like, wow, but yeah, it's just something that has to be consistent. I mean, yeah. I mean, we started reading the Bible, obviously, and you're like, wow, this is going to be perfect. And then you have a bad day, and you're like, wow,
it's God's fault. Everything's God's fault, even though it's really not.
Yeah, so that's something everyone has to work on.
Yes, and then another example of a biblical person would be Moses at the burning bush. He was afraid of failing and letting down tons and tons of people, but instead of just giving up and stopping, he talked to God about it, and God reassured him and said, "I will be with you through all of it. I will get you to the next point in your life."
Yeah, I think that's good, because it's like fear and anxiety. I'll keep my feet out of it. Sorry. But yeah, so it's more like an overwhelming fear, where you feel like everyone's relying on you and you have no one that you can rely on. And it's really hard to you can't handle this. Say you're getting a job, or you just bought a house. And I mean, I know this isn't his situation, but you bought a car in your house and then your car breaks down. And now you're like, well, you don't have the money. No one's here to help you. It's that's really important, because this overwhelming fear and anxiety develop. You always need someone to rely on. And I think it's really important to trust in God, pray to God, because it gives you something to know there's hope, there's faith, and you'll get through this, because it's really important to me, I think.
Whenever you feel you have nobody, God will always be there for you to lie back down on. And he will always be there no matter what. Even if you feel like you're at the lowest point in your life and nobody can help you out of it, God can.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a really important thing too. usually you can be at your highest high and you think, oh, life's going perfect. And I mean, like the next day you can wake up and everything just kind of,
It's gone.
yeah, gone or drops
But
or changed. And I feel,
God's not gone.
yeah, but I feel like that's actually where all the fear and anxiety comes. Like, say you get famous on social media and you think like, wow, this is all I've ever wanted. Next day you could wake up and now you're worried that everyone hates you or everyone dislikes you, or what should you say, what can't you say? Are you gonna have to post today, tomorrow? Will they be mad at what you post about, talk about? So I think it is really important to understand, like, if you conquer one of your fears, a new fear is going to come. You just have to trust in God. But you can't just say, hey, I trust in God, I'm never going to have fears again. You just use God to help you work on your fears, get through your fears, instead of just thinking all your fears will be relieved, because I don't think that's possible.
Yes, and ways to face fears are you just bring it to God. Talk to God about it every single day. Mention it. Bring it up to Him. And then remember God's presence and God's promises. He is always there with you, and He always will be. And He promises to always be there for you. And then to choose trust over panic. You need to trust in God instead of panicking. Oh my gosh, God isn't helping me.
Especially in the world today, I think, where like social media is like more of like an immediate emotion instead of like a long-term emotion, where like people have like a panic, like everyone kind of gets in panic mode right away instead of like having a long-term trust. Like, God knows your plan. If you trust in God, you'll see your plan, your future in the end, instead of worrying about like
what's happening right now,
yeah,
right
like
this second.
your boyfriend just broke up with you, your girlfriend just broke up
It's
with
the end
you.
of the world. It's not the end of the world. You are going to make it out and be perfectly fine.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. God's got the plan for you. It's just like you lose your job. And you think, well, I'll never get a job. I'll never have a house. I'll never have a family. But God knows you'll have that. You just have to trust in God and just keep moving forward. Look for your next job. And don't just sit
Keep
there and
moving
dwell
in
on
life.
it. Yeah.
Don't stay in the same place you're at.
Yeah, because I mean, that's just, it makes it just harder and harder to be able to find a way to get out of it. But yeah, just pray to God every night and just keep pushing forward.
Good Bible verses that go with what we just talked about is Isaiah 41:10. God promises strength and help when we feel afraid. And then Psalms 34:4. God delivers us from our fears when we...
Which one? Psalms what?
34:4. Guys, I have awful handwriting. I need to work on it.
Yeah. Psalms 34:4.
Just going to look it up so we can actually read it.
34:4?
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
I guess I put the wrong numbers, guys. But also, it may have just been, it's different.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that means
Different
God. That means
versions.
God. I sought God, and He delivered me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked onto Him and were radiant, and their faces shall never be confounded. That's 34.
It's basically the same thing, but different. His was American Standard Version, and that's
English
not
Standard.
what this. No, it says American Standard Version.
Oh, why am I an American?
That's not what we normally read. That's probably what it was. But those are very good.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I did. I sought the Lord, and He answered me and delivered me from all my fears. That was it. Yeah, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was like, that is not the same one, but that's what I wrote down.
Yeah, I don't know. What's that mean to you?
What'd you say?
What's it mean to you? What's the Bible verse?
Basically, stop stressing so much about, oh my gosh, I'm so worried and I am so nervous about what's going to happen. Put it into God's hands. Let Him deal with it and see what happens. You don't have to worry because God has a plan for you, no matter what, and don't control it either. I feel like a lot of us have problems with that today.
Yeah, and I think there's a Bible verse that fits well with it. I can pull it up real quick, but I guess doesn't matter. But it's just we always worry, fear, and anxiety, and you can always tie that back into like embarrassment or worrying about what people think about your society. But I think it's really important to always remember that if God is for you, who may be against you? And I think that one's good to always remember. Like we have a fear, like always starting these videos, like, do we want to start them or do we want to make one this week? Because we're always worried, like we don't know what we're talking about, or like we're just worried, like we just kind of sound like goofy up here, or make a mistake, and it's so I think it's always we always just sit there and like, well, if we're preaching the word of God and we keep talking about it, I think it's really important because
Everyone starts somewhere. You're not going to be amazing at everything. And who cares what people think? If people are judging us, that's okay.
Yeah, and maybe this is a bad video for some people and some people it connects to, but we just thought it was important to always like preach about God because that's what we believe in. And we really thought that we should share what we believe in. And so, but we always have to remind ourselves that God's here for us and we're here to preach about God instead of worry about what people think about what we're saying or how goofy we sound, because we probably sound goofy sometimes.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to 1 Peter 5:7. It's basically, he says, you need to cast your anxieties on God. And it is both an act of faith and surrender. So basically what I was going to talk about when we read about this, imagine carrying a backpack filled with tons and tons of heavy rocks. And then we cast it onto God, believing that he's strong enough to carry it. And it takes faith to be able to trust he won't drop it or forget about you. That's basically what we are doing with our anxieties. We are moving them on, giving them to God, talking to God about it, and believing and trusting that God isn't going to forget about us. He isn't just going to drop our anxieties on us and make us deal with it our own, because he'll never do that. He's strong enough to take our anxieties and help us get through them.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like me and like airplanes, but like I don't know what it is about airplanes, but like just taking off in an airplane like scares me, and I'm always sitting there like, pilot gonna make it off the runway? Is he gonna make it off the runway? And then we get off, taking it off, and it's like, oh man, are we gonna crash or the goose gonna hit us? And I swear,
What?
You never
That's your fear?
Yeah, like goose going there.
I don't think of that.
And so I always fear like that, and then I'm like, turbulence. Well, the engine's just turned off. There we go. I don't know why, because like I like airplanes. I think they're cool, and like I've flown one at 9 years old, and it's like it doesn't scare me to fly an airplane. I have no problem flying an airplane,
because he's in control.
But I don't see the person in front, and I hate that. But this time we just got back from vacation, if that's why we seem a little tired. But but yeah, I was.
He was scared. A nervous wreck, just sitting like this.
Yeah, and I grabbed like the seat in front of me. But this time I was like, I'll just pray to God. So I just sit there and pray. I'm like, relieve me of my stress, relieve my anxiety. And it took a little bit of praying. It probably took 10 minutes getting up there. But by the time it was there and it quieted down, I felt pretty good. But I just don't, I guess I'm just not good at like not being feared when I'm not in control. So that's something I need to work on. But it helped to pray to God and let him know like, oh, he's in control. Whatever he has for me is the plan, and I'm going to be okay either way. But I don't know why that's my fear, because it's not like I get in the car and every day I drive, I'm scared I'm about to crash with someone, and that wouldn't be
But it's way more dangerous than flying. And
so I guess it's just that I'm not driving, but I do think it helped a lot just praying to God.
He gets nervous that I drive.
So yeah, I guess I do. It's a control thing. I don't like her driving, and I'll hold onto the handrail.
Yeah, he's like holding on, like I'm gonna just crash. Like, I mean, I could, but like, why be so stressed about it?
But I guess that's like a symbol that I probably need to work on, is like, let God take my will, and I need to be less self-centered and be more centered towards God, and allow him to be the driver and me be the passenger instead of me driving everywhere and not letting him take control. Because that's definitely something I need to work on. It's probably a fear of mine of like going somewhere I don't know where I'm going. So I like to always choose what I'm doing. I'm very opinionated probably about that.
And basically something that goes along with what he was talking about is surrender. So sometimes we say that we trust in God and we're giving our trust to God, but we are still trying to be in control, like Dalton said. We want to say, oh my gosh, I'm going to hand it over to God, but we're still trying to control the situation, which that's not fully trusting in God. So basically you need to fully let go and let God do it, handle it. It's like unclenching your fists and handing him the problem, letting him deal with it, not us saying, well, I'm going to handle about 50% of my problem, but I want 45% of my problem, but I want the other 55% where I still get to control what happens. No, you don't get to control what happens. You have to give it all to God and let him guide you in the way he wants to guide you.
Yeah, you can't really be like, yeah, I'm going to give God Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'll take
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, or be like, I'll give God Sunday through Friday, and then I'm going to go party Saturday. You can't do that either. Or you can't be like, yeah, I'm going to give my life to God, but I know this girl's not good for me, I know she's leading me down the wrong route, and I'm going to say, hey, God, I'll do everything for you, but I'm not going to do that.
But I'm still going to hang out around the people that make me feel awful about myself.
Yeah. And then another thing I would say is let me read that. I had something good. Which one?
The surrender one?
Oh yeah. And then like you can say like you're surrendering to God and stuff, but there's obviously it's great to say you surrender to God and give your life. But my junior head coach always said to us like you can talk the talk, but you can't walk. You have to walk the walk, and so that's really important. Like I understand you're surrendering to God, and that's a big step. I mean, that's the hardest step. It's probably the first step, but you have to make sure you're taking steps forward in that process. You actually have to surrender to God. You have to allow Him to do it. You can't just say, oh, Monday I'll surrender to God. And that's kind of like a workout thing I have a problem with. Is like, I'll just start Monday. And you can't just start Monday or you'll never start. Because
you can't keep pushing back, oh, next Monday I'll be good. Next Monday I won't be hungover from drinking on Sunday night. No, you have to stop this Sunday.
Yeah, you start today. You start right now instead of waiting until Monday.
Basically, actions speak louder than words. Is basically what the point of that was.
Yeah, I mean, words are great, right? I mean, that's the hardest part, is to definitely start it. I mean,
but your actions are way more important. It doesn't matter if you're sitting there up there preaching the word of God, but on the weekend you're hanging out with your sneaky link. Doesn't matter.
I mean, especially if you don't know God yet, or you're not like Christ, and you're not giving your life to God, it's hard because you think your life's really good, probably, and then you think all the bads are because of God. That's a really hard one to actually give your life to Christ and surrender, because at the moment you don't really see that how much better of a life you could have if you give it to Him. And so I think that's a hard one, but always make sure to take steps forward.
So basically everything we just talked about and everything, but the last, surrender and casting your anxieties on God. In short words is casting our anxieties is faith, trusting God can carry them, and surrender is choosing not to carry them ourselves and letting God do it. Is basically what we just said.
And I always think it's important, like, because fears and anxieties I would always say, will take you down, probably. I mean, you're not going to always beat fear and anxiety. I mean, you will in the end. But I think the difference between having a fear and anxiety with God and without God is if fear and anxiety takes you down without God, most likely you'll fall back on your back. And it's harder to get up when you're taking steps back. But I think if you have God, you'll always fall on your face and go forward, and you'll always be able to get back up and keep moving forward. Because it may take you down a little bit, but you can get back on your feet quicker. But you
have someone there to push you forward to keep you going.
Yeah, so that's always better, instead of like almost reverting or like kind of being like it's a hermit. I mean, I know that sounds meaner than it is, but like without God, if you have a fear and anxiety that you don't deal with, you kind of like curl up and
eats you up. It
literally
controls you. You do nothing, and you sit in your house all day worrying about. You have a fear of the world.
Yeah. Instead of like you get a bad grade, you're like, well, I just need to hide in my room today and watch my
mom's gonna be so disappointed. What am I gonna do? Who cares?
I need to watch Wednesday Addams.
I guess that's what Dalton doesn't get bad grades. Nobody else thinks, let me watch Wednesday Addams.
Oh, well, that was my thought.
Okay, but basically another thing, a good reminder is God does not get annoyed with your anxieties. God loves when you want to bring them to Him, because He loves us. He wants to hear about your fears and your anxieties and what's going on in your day. He loves that. So continue to go and talk to Him and let Him know.
Yeah, it's always important to find people that are religious like you, that are close to God, that you can talk to people about.
Yes, they also want to hear about it. Just because you feel like they're annoyed does not mean they're annoyed.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to talk to someone that's probably spiritually higher than you, or not higher, that sounds like a hierarchy. Like better or more spiritual.
They know more about God than you do.
Than someone that doesn't know as much, because it's almost not helping you as much.
They're going to lead you in the right direction to God. That is going to help you eventually.
Because like if you have fear and anxiety, and you're like, well, I'm not very good at talking to people, and you find a bad person to talk to, they're just like, well, just come drink with me this week, and you'll be able to talk to people. And
that's not solving your problems.
Instead of someone that's more spiritual than you, and that will be like, well, pray to God, talk to God, come out here, and come to this small group and talk to a group of 12 people. And that really helps, I think, a lot more if you find someone that's a good person that will listen to you. And God will speak through them to you to help deal with those anxiety and stuff. Because, I mean, I know it's hard for you to just pray and really get like a screen right in your head, like do this, or you're no longer, it's no like magic
It's never
trick,
going to happen like that.
but yeah. So you have a verse of the day?
I do. My Bible verse of the day is cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Psalms 55:22.
And what's that mean to you?
Basically, I'm always going to cast my troubles, my worries, anything that I'm dealing with, talk to God about him, let him handle it, and he won't let me be shaken. Even if I do, it does control. He's not going to let it control me. He's not going to let it be the end of the world for me. He's going to continue to push me forward and let me deal with it in the way that I'm supposed to deal with it.
And then what is it?
BBOTD.
BVOTD.
Bible verse of the day.
Yeah, but we're gonna actually make it
BBOTDW.
no
Bible verse of the week.
BVOTW. Yeah, Bible verse of the week.
That's what I just said.
But I actually found mine right before I came on. I was actually reading our plan for the day. I was a little behind because of all the why is it like this? Okay, but
It's probably because when you saved it, that was what their Bible verse was in.
no, I found this on
their plan is probably American Standard
I got you. And so it was actually interesting. I was sitting there, and I was like, well, I'll just read the plan because she was always. I don't really take notes as much. I just kind of.
He lets me bring up a topic, and he starts to ramble about it.
Yeah, I'm a good rambler. But I was just reading the Bible the Bible plan, and I was like, well, I'll see. Maybe I'll read this Bible plan and see like if God talks to me about it and gives me one. And so I found John 5:30. I can do nothing on my own. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just because I seek not my own will, but the will of him who sent me. And I think it's less about fear and anxiety, more about you can do a lot more with God. And I thought it was important to talk about that because it shows with God, you can kind of push through your fears and anxieties and allow you to keep moving forward. And so I thought maybe I'd end on a more positive note instead of more of a negative here. So trust God, move through God, and he'll be a lot better. Sorry if it was a little rougher of a video, but
Thank you guys for watching.